This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov Gang. Tonight, End FGM Today, and Female Genital Mutilation Today. Our guest with us this evening, Elizabeth Yore, the founder and the head of endfgmtoday.com. Elizabeth, what an honor to have you on the Glazov Gang.
Jamie, I'm delighted to be with you tonight and happy to talk about this issue that is really of growing importance in the United States and around the world.
Absolutely, Liz, and thank you for everything that you're doing on this issue. And this organization that you're leading, End FGM Today, we want to bring it to the public's attention and to get as much support for it as possible. Liz, let's begin a little bit about you first. You've spent about 3 decades in legal child advocacy. Tell us about yourself.
Yes, Jamie, I was general counsel at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in Virginia. I did international child abduction cases, missing children, child exploitation, child pornography investigations. I was also general counsel at the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services, and to end up my legal career, I was special counsel to Oprah Winfrey. Her production company also worked in South Africa at her school doing an investigation of child sex abuse. So I've had a variety of issues in the child protection arena, but frankly, Jamie, when this issue was presented to me, I was shocked that this has come to our shores in the United States, and that at this point in my career, we have to be discussing female genital mutilation in the United States.
Absolutely. And Liz, as you well know, there's so much grotesque, disgusting, shameless, shameful denial on this planet in terms of this issue. It's just incredible because we all care, whether it's in the United States or abroad. Anywhere where this is done to a little girl, it is our business and we need to defend them. And it's incredible the denial that's being practiced, especially by the left. Now, as you say, now FGM, as we're becoming aware, is increasingly present in the United States. First, tell us a little bit about FGM.
Well, FGM has been around for millennia. Largely in the Muslim world. It has been a mandated practice according to the classic manual of law, Islamic law, mandating that FGM be performed on little girls. There are approximately 200 million girls in the world who are at risk of FGM. FGM is a procedure largely not done by a doctor, but by some, person who just has a razor. And it is performed on little girls anywhere from the age of 3 to 12. And there are various types, but largely, and I'll be trying not to be as graphic, it is the cutting or incising or mutilating of the female genitalia. And the purpose of FGM is to suppress sexuality in women. It is also to, quote unquote, purify women and girls and females. And it's, frankly, as we know, it's a form of submission. And there are no health benefits, unlike male circumcision. In fact, Jamie, the World Health Organization and the UN has found that it is a human rights violation, so much so that there are complications, both physical, emotional, and psychological, for little girls going through their entire life as women as a result of FGM. That oftentimes they end up in the hospital because of this hideous and barbaric procedure.
Thank you, Liz. And, as you've stated, the issue of Islam, we know that this is the, primary religious group that practices it. It's in the Hadith and Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari, Reliance of the Traveler, all mandate this. And so this is an issue. And what's crazy is a lot of times when we run up against these deniers and they say, oh, well, Muslims aren't the only ones that do it. Well, no, Muslims are not the only ones that do it. But the problem is is that Islam mandates this, and it's happening under Islam. It's happening in Egypt and Somalia and Sudan and Iraqi Kurdistan, the Islamic parts of India, etc., etc. And we don't help these girls there by practicing denial. And we're not going to help them in the United States by practicing denial. So Liz, tell us, it appears, look, is this legal or illegal in the United States? It's supposed to be illegal, but half of the states are not protecting girls against FGM. Tell us about this.
That's right. It's been illegal under federal law since 1996. However, for the first time in, 18 years, we're going to have a prosecution. We have a prosecution of FGM in Michigan, but there are only 27 states that have criminalized FGM, and it's in various stages. Some states are tougher than others. But interestingly, Jamie, there was a study in 2015 by the Center for Disease Control in the United States, and they found that over 500,000, in fact, 513,000 women and girls in the United States are at risk of FGM. And, you know, I like to say, and I think it's borne out by the evidence and the data, this is the fastest growing import into the United States as a result of refugees. For example, as we know, in Somalia, and you know this, Jamie, in Somalia, 98% of little girls are subjected to FGM. In Egypt, now you would think an educated country like Egypt, 97% of girls are subjected to FGM. And what we now know in the United States and around the world is this practice is imported when they come to a new country. It doesn't stop because, frankly, this practice has been carried on for generations and generations. And so we here in the United States have to wake up and realize that FGM is being practiced in the United States. It's against our federal criminal law, but we have a lot more states that need to pass crimes against FGM.
Frightening that we even have to talk about this, and obviously the left and Islamic supremacists have this alliance where they just don't allow discussion of this. They brand it somehow racist, whereas we're the ones that are trying to save these Muslim girls. And Islam is not a race, etc., etc. But Liz, Michigan currently awaiting trial for there's a situation there of two 7-year-old Somali immigrant girls, right?
That's right. That's right. And what, well, actually, what it was the Dawoodi Bohra, which is an India Shia cult sect. And they were coming from Minnesota to Michigan to this doctor from the Dawoodi Bohra sect. And she was performing FGM on these little girls. So they were traveling interstate. This is, I call this, Jamie, this is the human trafficking of FGM. They travel cross state lines to a cutter and these little girls, and now we know as a result of the federal indictment how this operated. They call by phone, they set up the appointment. The doctor told the mothers to bring their little girls at night when the clinic is closed and locked, and they're told, the little girls are not told what's happening. After the horrendous procedure is done on these little girls, they can barely walk. They can barely walk. And this is all in the indictment. And they are told they are sworn to secrecy. So what we have, and we've learned in this Michigan case, what we have is over possibly, the prosecution said over 100 girls have been cut by this particular doctor around the country, from Chicago, from New York, and from California. And we have this separate society, the separate, if you will, healthcare system that is separated from the normal healthcare system. And so, 20 years ago, remember, it was difficult to find victims of human trafficking because nobody would talk. Now we have lots of prosecutions. Well, we need to pierce this Islamic veil that is over this entire procedure in practice. And we need to start talking about this in our communities. This is a crime. I'm a child abuse expert. This is a crime against children. Doctors, teachers, social workers need to be calling police and child welfare and reporting that this is happening in their community to their little innocent, helpless little girls. And so there's a lot of work to be done.
Thank you, Liz. And look, Linda Sarsour, big women's rights activist, you know, on the Islamic supremacist side, Linda Sarsour. Then we've got Kathy Griffin, Chelsea Handler, Rosie O'Donnell, Whoopi Goldberg, you know, Ashley Judd. Liz, where are these people?
Where are they? They wear their pink hats, but they're not concerned about the genitalia of little girls being mutilated. Let me tell you, in Maine, they all sat on their hands. In Maine, we were not able to pass an FGM crime bill because the Democrats and the left women in the ACLU fought us tooth and nail. Yeah. And this is, you know, this is a child abuse issue. It's a human rights issue. And if the left is going to remain silent, it's required of all of us to expose the hypocrisy and the double standard.
Absolutely, Liz, and this is what the left does, and it sacrifices humanity and little girls on the altar of its ideals, and part of its ideals is to be in alliance and to be aiding and abetting adversary cultures and religions, but that's for another time. Before we go, End FGM Today, your organization, just tell us briefly what exactly it's doing right now and how people can help you.
Well, go to the website. There's all sorts of information. I urge the moms and dads of America to educate themselves on this, to open their eyes. You know, the public is the best eyes and ears of law enforcement. Little girls talk to each other. If they hear about this, they need to report it to law enforcement. Look, this is the slippery slope of Sharia law, correct? If we don't draw the line on FGM, are we going to wait to draw the line at honor killings or perhaps child brides? If we don't take a stand in the United States against FGM, then we are going to be fighting an uphill battle and we'll be losing it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Liz. So endfgmtoday.com, correct?
Correct. Go there for all the information, and please, we'd love you to get involved.
Everybody go to endfgmtoday.com, get involved, help Elizabeth's organization. Before we go, last words of wisdom to you, anything that perhaps we didn't mention today.
No, today is important to realize that this is growing exponentially in the United States, and it's time for us to get over our sense of denial and disbelief that this horrendous, barbaric practice could be happening on our shores to our little girls. And so we have to wake up. We've got to put aside the denial, and we have to do what we always do. We face a problem squarely, you know, and we pass laws, we pass crimes, and then we prosecute. And we send a strong message to the community that FGM is not an American value, and it will not be tolerated here.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth Yore, for everything that you're doing. Thank you for this noble, humanitarian, courageous, and vital battle. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Jamie, for giving this the attention it desperately needs.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. We hope we'll see you again. Our audience, if we're not going to fight on behalf of little girls and protect them from genital mutilation, who are we as a civilization and as a society? Go to endfgmtoday.com. Please get involved in the battle. And please remember, we're a fan-generated program. If you like what we do and support us, please help us out at jamieglazov.com and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel of the Glazov Gang. Good night.